No one hates a rainy day more than the woman who lives in this house. That's her kitchen, and she's worried the creek behind me is about to sweep it away.
One-on-one with Fort Worth ISD's new superintendent as he lays out plans for the district's future.
Every kid in this district needs to move faster.
And a WFAA investigation into unsafe trucks on our roads. The family of a woman killed on a North Texas highway calling for more oversight.
I just feel like so many things were stripped away in the blink of an eye.
A Friday cold front, a Saturday cool down, a Sunday warm up, and rain on the way.
Deadly crashes involving big rigs have been making headlines nationwide. The federal government says it's cracking down on dangerous drivers and unsafe trucking companies.
But in an exclusive WFAA investigation, Tanya Iser finds enforcement dropped sharply in the first few months after the Trump administration took power.
A mother was killed by a big rig crash in Terrell, and for the first time tonight, her family says stronger oversight could save lives.
She was definitely my best friend.
Haley and her mother talked or texted every single day.
We were just texting about a random show that we were both watching together.
On the evening of Saturday, June 28, 2025, her mother, Nicole Gregory, stopped returning texts. Haley knew something was wrong, so she checked her mom's phone location. It pointed somewhere unexpected, a towing yard.
I called them, and they wouldn't tell me anything. They just said to Google a wreck that had happened in Terrell. And at that point, my heart just dropped because I knew something was up, something was really, really wrong.
Nicole Gregory, along with 4 members of another family, had been killed when an 18-wheeler slammed into them in Terrell, Texas.
It felt like my world stopped at that moment, and it still feels like that.
While Gregory's family grieved, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration did not shut the company down despite its history of extensive safety violations. Instead, the FMCSA was scaling back enforcement in the months prior to the deadly crash. And data confirms it. Enforcement cases are investigations where federal regulators take action against motor carriers for safety violations. In 2024, the agency closed 3,843 cases. In 2025, only 617. That's an 84% decline.
For you to even be touched by an enforcement case, you've done something pretty bad, right?
Zach Cahalan is executive director of the Truck Safety Coalition.
The mission of FMCSA, quite literally, is to reduce truck crash deaths and injuries.
An agency insider tells WFA that after President Trump's January 2025 inauguration, new layers of legal approval created a backlog. And you can see it in the monthly numbers. In January 2025, FMCSA investigators closed 232 enforcement cases. By March, it had gone down to just 1 case. In June, the month of the Terrell crash, the agency closed 31.
We've never seen anything like this regarding the low rates of enforcement. Not even during the first Trump administration. It's horrifying, it's inexcusable, and it's frankly a dereliction of duty.
And it wasn't just enforcement cases that slowed. It was also reflected in the safety ratings. An unsatisfactory rating shuts a motor carrier down. 2025 saw a 92% decline, down to only 17.
We have a lot of carriers that have no rating whatsoever. There's an issue. I realize it's unacceptable.
Our investigative partner, WTSP in Tampa, caught up with the head of FMCSA, Derek Bars, at a trucking convention in Orlando.
We were told by insiders that the agency put new requirements in place to move forward with enforcement against bad trucking companies, and it's created a logjam. Is there something changed in that policy?
Legal sufficiency, making sure that everyone understands that you've got to make sure that you have evidence to be able to bring cases against somebody, no matter whether it's a criminal case or whether it's a regulatory case. You got to have evidence.
Closed enforcement cases are way down between 24 and 2025. Why is that?
Well, I can tell you that right now the investigation, we have to make sure that we have legal sufficiency for all of our cases. I think you're going to see an uptick in enforcement cases because my message is enforcement is important.
Last month in our Blind Spots investigation, we detailed the troubling history of Hope Trans, the company involved in the Terrell crash.
They pushed the pickup times back if you need more time.
Ultimately, it wasn't federal regulators who took Hope Trans off the road. It was the loss of the company's insurance more than 3 months after the crash. Hope Trans was fined by the FMCSA. The amount? $21,690.
Smiling, memories.
Nicole Gregory's family says real change will be measured not in promises, but in results.
Change obviously needs to happen. This was my whole world. I deserve to at least say goodbye to her or, tell her I love her one more time. And I just feel like so many things were stripped away in the blink of an eye.
I'm Tanya Iser, WFAA News.
If you missed any part of our Blind Spots investigation, you can stream the full special right now on WFAA+. It is free to download to your TV.
New tonight, Dallas ISD just approved a plan to provide free universal pre-K, and some families could save thousands of dollars a year. Right now, it's limited to low-income and active duty military families, students learning English, or those in foster care. Tonight's vote expands the program to every child, 3 and 4 years old, saving families $5,000 to $6,000 a year. The board says it could boost enrollment, and they don't need to hire more teachers right now.
Tonight, the new superintendent for Fort Worth ISD is hitting the ground running. He was just appointed to the job as part of the state's takeover alongside a board of managers. Brittany Costello has his goals for the district.
For the first time,
I'm the school superintendent.
incoming Fort Worth ISD superintendent Dr. Peter Licata
Their attention is hard to keep. Their energy is higher than ever.
is walking the halls of Monig Middle School to meet with campus leaders, but mostly to observe.
That can be challenging.
Today is day 3 of planned tours, particularly at some schools that have a history of low academic performance.
And 10 minutes in, he's already noting changes.
We need to change this. Too many bells, too long. Transition should have happened a while ago.
The Texas Education Agency announced its selection of Licata Tuesday to lead the transformation of one of the state's largest school districts. Licata calls it a whirlwind.
This is one shot, one window. Let's get it done, but let's get it done right.
For him, that means putting more support and resources into the classroom immediately.
How can we get the best teachers? How can we recruit? How can we pay them? The new model that we're bringing in is really nice for teachers, where they'll be making $100,000, $110,000, $120,000 in some of the hardest schools if they're showing great results.
Where does that money come from?
That is what we're working on.
The hardest schools are campuses with a history of low performance, like Monig Middle School. It also has a larger than average percentage of students who are economically disadvantaged and at risk. Though harder to reach, Licata says it doesn't change expectations.
Because a child comes from a very difficult background or poverty, we don't devalue them. We don't think less or what they can do. We don't say, okay, we only expect you to go this high.
He says they will rely heavily on state standardized testing in the next few weeks to drive their approach, with major changes, reorganization, and professional development on the short list.
In order to get academic instruction and achievement at the highest level for these children, we have to have the best talented workforce.
In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
Tonight, President Trump is ordering the Secretary of Homeland Security to pay TSA agents immediately before they miss another paycheck tomorrow. TSA officers have gone 41 days without pay, with congressional Democrats and Republicans unable to strike a funding deal. The question now, where is the administration getting the money to pay them? Sources say they'll probably pull funds from the so-called Big Beautiful Bill President Trump signed last year. This standoff has sparked some of the longest security lines in history, with passengers in Houston waiting up to 4 hours to get through TSA.
The NTSB released new video of the crash site at New York's LaGuardia. It shows the wreckage of the Air Canada jet that crashed into a fire truck while landing Sunday night. 2 pilots were killed and dozens taken to the hospital with injuries. The wreckage has since been cleared from the area and repairs made to the runway. The airport returned to full operations this morning.
Tonight, investigators have identified the people who were with Eric Molina, but the American Airlines flight attendant is still missing. Molina is based in DFW and was last seen early Sunday morning in Colombia. He left a party after working a flight from Miami to Medellin the day before. Investigators are looking into claims someone may have drugged him that night. and say Molina's father is in Medellin right now, where he's getting frequent updates.
Tonight, a woman tells us she's afraid what might happen the next time it rains. A creek next to her house has been eroding the land underneath it for years. She lives along Chatty Road near Heath Creek in DeSoto. And tonight, she tells our Cole Sullivan she's at a tipping point.
The sound of water can bring peace. Not here.
It has become a nightmare.
Lachey Johnson Massengill knows its power.
Do you get nervous standing here?
Yes, especially when it rains.
Her house in DeSoto teeters on a ledge above Heath Creek. When she bought it in 2012, she says it had a patio and firm ground.
All that's been washed away.
Every rain, she says the erosion gets worse as the creek rises and takes away soil and her sense of security.
I hate it. I cry many nights. It's the problem.
A single pillar now holds up her kitchen.
We started to have gas leaks because the house is shifting.
She's turned off her gas entirely.
Which is embarrassing.
Shifting ground means broken pipes, so to shower, wash dishes, or run the sink, her husband Terrence heads out to the meter.
You have to turn this on every time.
She says she's tried asking the city and her insurance for help, but hasn't had luck yet.
I just want it to be fixed. The soil back, just to be put back.
In what was supposed to be a forever home, now she's worried every time the forecast calls for rain.
Oh, I pray to God every time. Lord, please don't let this be the one to take us out. Please protect us, please.
Putting the power of her prayers up against the power of the water. In DeSoto, I'm Cole Sullivan.